Hey there, ambitious business owners. I am Macayla, and if you are not really sure what marketing is, but you know that your business needs it, then you are in the right place. This is Growth Marketing Unleashed, Marketing 101 for Small Businesses, podcast where we break down what exactly marketing is, marketing strategies, and actionable steps that you can take away and implement right now. So in today's episode, we are going to talk about how to build a cohesive brand. We're going to talk about developing your first marketing strategy. And we're also going to talk about creating content that actually works following that strategy that you're creating and the brand guidelines that you're establishing. So let's get into it. So before you actually start marketing, you're going to need to establish your brand first. And you want to make sure that your brand is cohesive and that all of the parts fit together with you and who your target audience is. So the first thing that you want to do is obviously set a vision for your brand and set business goals. And I'm not really going to get into too much detail about that because it's not really the marketing side. I want to get you into the marketing stuff, but you should have a vision for your brand and your business, and you should have business goals that you want to hit in like your first year or whatever year you're starting this process. You also really need to understand who your target customers are because all of your marketing is going to revolve around trying to talk to them. So in order to figure out who your ideal customer is, if you're an established business, you can obviously look at your current customers to figure out what similarities they have. But I'm really going to talk more to someone who's just starting their business or maybe doing, a brand or marketing refresh and wants to reestablish who they want their ideal customer to be. And in that case, you really just need to do a little bit of soul searching of who you want your customer to be, who you think that this business most applies to, whatever service or product that you're offering. Who is going to be buying that product or purchasing your services? Be very specific about who you're talking to. Do some research into demographics. In a previous episode 1, I believe, where I talked about the difference between B2B and B2C business models for your business. So you want to make sure you understand which one of those you are and whether you're talking to actual customers and consumers in their personal lives or whether you're talking to businesses and people that work for businesses in their professional lives. So once you really have a grasp on who exactly your target customer is, and I'm not talking about everyone ages 20 to 35 that lives in insert city. You want to be extremely specific about who you're talking to. Then you're able to do a bit more market research. So you want to figure out where your target customer is spending their time online or in person if you're an actual brick and mortar store where you're trying to get tourists or something like that to come to you. Figure out how those people are spending their money, how they're shopping, how they're interacting online, what platforms you should be on, and what marketing tactics and strategies that you might want to implement to reach them. You also want to do a bit more market research about your actual business, research competitors that might do something similar to you or be a reason that someone wouldn't spend their money at your place of business and would use their money elsewhere. What do those competitors look like? Who are they? Where are they online? Take a look at their websites and at their social media and just get a feel for what your competition is like. You also want to figure out how you're going to position your brand and how you're going to differentiate your product and service from the competitors. You want to make sure that your brand is different from the other competitors that are out there. What makes your brand memorable over some of the other choices that your customers have? That's what positioning is all about. And then differentiation is really about your product and service and how you can make those different from what your competitors are offering. Make sure that your product or services is offering a unique value to the customers that are in your market, and you're not just offering the exact same thing that they could get somewhere else. As part of your brand and building your brand, you also obviously have to come up with your brand identity. And this is where, if you're not a designer or a marketer, it might be a good idea to get an outside marketing or design perspective and have someone help you with the creation of the logos and the colors and the typography to make sure that it actually aligns with who your target customer would actually be attracted to and want to come to and resonate with. The brand identity is also a very strategic thing that you're creating. It's not just what resonates with you necessarily, what colors you like. It really should resonate around what your target audience is going to be attracted to. So depending on who they are, you really need to take them into account when you create your visual identity. And then finally, as part of building your brand, you need to come up with your messaging and your tone. So when you speak in marketing handouts, flyers on social media, on your website, do you want to sound very professional and very serious? Or do you want to have a bit more of a casual tone, be more conversational with your audience? You should really stick to one tone of voice, and so decide which of those matches what your target audience needs and how you want your brand to be represented. All of this information should be written out in like a brand guideline document, so that not only do you have it written out for yourself, but you would be able to hire a marketing professional or a design professional, give them your brand and guidelines, your business guidelines, and have them be able to immediately start working with what you've got. It's a lot easier to communicate to them what guidelines they need to follow when they write and when they create visual designs for your brand if you have all of that detailed out. Next, let's talk about the marketing strategy itself. So if you're just starting out, you might create what's called a go-to-market strategy. And this is really planning out how you're going to launch your product or launch your service, launch your business, with the goal being that you're reaching your target audience where they want to be reached and where they spend their time online. So this goes back to selecting the appropriate channels for your audience that I've talked about in a couple other videos I've mentioned, but by really understanding who your target customer is, where they spend their time online and in person, you'll know which channels you need to be on, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or maybe it's LinkedIn and YouTube, or maybe you're in person and you need to do some location-based advertising. All of those things will become clear once you know who exactly your audience is. As part of your marketing strategy, you also need to set some clear goals and write down and be specific about how you're going to track the goals. You might have heard of SMART goals before, SMART. Those are specific, measurable, accurate, relevant, and time-bound goals. And all of your goals in your marketing strategy should be SMART goals. Really what that means is that it's a goal that's actually relevant to what you want to be able to track, that you're actually setting a deadline for yourself by when you're going to complete this goal, and you're specifying how exactly you're going to track the goal. Then finally, once you've written out exactly what you want to do, your goals for the strategy, and how exactly you're going to track them, then obviously you need an implementation plan. When you're executing on the strategy, you're really just following the guidelines that you've created for yourself when you're writing the strategy. So some of that is what channels you're going to be using, like your website, and which social media channels you're going to create and start using. But you're also in your strategy going to outline some of the content that you might be creating, because that's a strategic choice as well. So for example, what content you might be creating on social media. Maybe you're creating an email newsletter, a podcast or YouTube channel, or direct mail, local advertising. Any of those things might be specific tactics that you've outlined in your strategy to reach the goals that you've set. And then finally, you want to make sure that you are actually tracking the analytics that you said you were going to in your strategy. So some tools that you might use for tracking how well you're doing with your strategy goals could be Google Analytics. If you have a website related goal, like how many people are visiting your website, how many leads you're getting from your website. All social media channels have analytics built in. So Facebook, as long as you have a business page, gives you insights into who's coming to your page, what they're looking at, how many people are clicking through to your website or wherever you're telling them to click to. Same goes for Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of those places. Most email automation tools also have built-in analytics so that you can see how many people are opening the email, how many people are clicking on that call to action or button within your email. I hope you enjoyed this little brief overview of some of the foundations of your marketing plan that you need to create. Leave a comment below if you learned something about why having a marketing strategy is so important. Next time, we are going to talk about the basics of SEO, which is search engine optimization. So we're going to talk about doing keyword research, some on-page website essentials, as well as local SEO strategies. If you have a specific marketing strategy that you want me to talk about or explain, please leave a comment below. You can always connect with me on LinkedIn by searching for Macayla Albee or Wild Agency, and you can find me online at wildgrowthagency.com. Thanks for listening. I'm Macayla, and I will see you next time.